Good morning and welcome to another video from ITS. My name is Chad Dupin. I am the Vice President of Marketing here at ITS. And today's webcast is going to be on Altair 7.1 with a little update on the Service Pack 1. We are very excited here at ITS about Altair 7.1. Every one of our customers that have upgraded to 7.1 have been pleased or excited. And right now we currently have a couple 100,000 nodes already upgraded or migrated, so it is a great product. So we look forward to telling you a little bit more about it. Some quick things about ITS: we are the current Symantec's Partner of the Year. We are a Symantec Master Specialized Partner. We focus exclusively on Symantec Endpoint Management Security Solutions. That is all we do. And we also are an engineer-centric organization. Video started. I do apologize. The audio was recorded over a VoIP channel, so there is a little bit of some digital noise, so I do apologize for that. But let's get started. Thank you, and have a great day.
My name is Neil Rogers. I have been with ITS for over 8 years now. I'm a Symantec architect, number of certifications in asset management, client management, SAP, DLP. I'm the support team lead. So some of the new features. We have, this one's kind of small, but I wanted to highlight it, but there's some more configuration options for the enhanced console views to make it a little bit easier to navigate and to take some different character sets. But one of the biggest features is the ASDK is now a core component. And what that means is that you can do some scripting to the base system to do more configuration, to do more, get more power out of it, instead of just going in there and clicking, and that's become so much easier. But we can also do things where more advanced, have it look up in a database and name computers a certain way or work with it. So having the SDK as a key piece of this, we can talk to the Symantec Management Platform as a notification server is now known, the task server that what the job is doing, and the deployment server, have those all interact together. It's a great way to be able to manage your applications. A lot of power. I've done historically with 6 and 7. I've done a lot of really neat things where you're able to actually go through and you wouldn't have these power without it, where you can migrate settings over, you can install pieces, you can do all that kind of stuff from one place, and the scripts give you so much power. So we're talking about specifically how that works via 7.1 because all the pieces that are inside of there. So for instance, all the pieces that you would normally do from a ongoing, you have a job that has a preview configuration or the OS license key. This is a specific list in a certain order because all these things you have to do to get the OS built and then deploy software to it. Well, we could have jobs for that, as traditionally is done, and then have those jobs. You grab the computer, you drop it on the job, and then it runs the software install or the OS deployment. But with this, we can actually have it look, for instance, at the machine name, figure out what the functionality is of it. So if you have a certain prefix for a server or a virtual server, and you then have a prefix for its role, like Exchange or SQL, you actually have it parse that out and run the code behind the scene to call the job that would deploy SQL to it afterwards, or set the guest OS to a certain level to a certain host VM. All those pieces that are working with different systems, different OSs. One would be Linux, one would be Microsoft. We can script all that out. We can look inside of your OS licenses. So traditionally it's been a problem to use your license key if you're a place that gets your keys with your boxes. Then every Dell computer has this little sticker on there. Well, if you have all those stickers in the system, all those license keys, you can actually have a database and actually have that key deployed to that machine based on its MAC address, which you can get from barcode. All tied together, and then look that information up and already post it to it. So then you could actually use, instead of using just one OEM key, which a lot of companies do, and then just show they have the paperwork for the rest of them, that's kind of an integrated licensing law. So this allows you to look that information up and insert it real time. You can have it do other functions where, because it works with a task server, because you can set Pixie servers, and you can do pre-boot information. When you're building servers, a lot of times you have to set up the BIOS of it, set up the RAID, all those different things you have to do. Well, this allows you to set this up at a PC level even. So you want to do some complex configuration with PCs, you can do it. You put the complexity into building the job, and then it lowers who has the access to, who needs the access and information to the job, because it reduces their level of knowledge that they need, because that's all built into the scripts, and that runs it behind the scenes. Obviously, with modified configurations, that's an important piece, because that's what joins to the domain. You can set DNS settings for it. You can set registry settings. You can have it go to a certain OU. All those different things you can do, again, all be scripted behind the scenes and tell it, this is your job set as it goes. You could have it import PCT package settings, have it grab all the different settings or just sets of them. It works with it. So then as those all work, as you're taking the pieces, doing your migration, especially there's a lot of companies that are going to 7 right now, or they've hit stumbling blocks. They were planning on going, I know a couple of places that had July deployments planned. The problem is they had some complexity come up that they never captured in their inventory. They never realized they had this complexity. And this allows them to look at all that and add the complexity into the job. So then with a little bit of extra work, getting this set up, it saves a ton of work. And it can save a lot of man hours, and it can also save, more importantly, the outsourcing of the people swapping the hardware out from doing additional steps. Again, that costs a lot of money. That's real hard costs that are wrapped into this and taken care of, because you can script these pieces out. So I guess the best part about all of this is that the ASDK is kind of stuff, it's definitely behind the scenes stuff where you actually have a script that goes out and does the different pieces, and that's gotten so much better. But also the front end has gotten so much better. Being able to do the different things inside of the Symantec management platform right at your fingertips. So this is the traditional view. They've changed, you can see the menu changed a little bit, but this part looks kind of the same. But we're going to go over here, see a new thing here, virtual machine management. Again, that's something that's come out with 7.1. Allows you to do more on your virtual machines. It's agnostic from a VM or a Microsoft hypervisor, so it brings it to one place. But the biggest change, we go to manage computers. This allows you to see your computers from one place. They've taken the concept everyone loved about deployment server, the 32-bit version, and moved it into here. Because you have Silverlight running, you have Java, you have Flash, all those pieces make it so it's what people have been wanting out of this console for a long time. As you see, it's a pretty straightforward view. You have your computers here. You can see the list of them. You can do a search. You can do a partial name, and it will find it. So if I do a 544, it's going to get rid of all the ones that are not, well, they're all 5. If we do 523, then we can get down to this just one machine. We can see all the information. Normally from here, you have to right-click on the machine, go to Resource Manager, or any right-click items in here. Well, all this is right along the top now. Move my bar all the way a second. And we can now see agent details from here. See the network information. Get all the stuff, the things you would go into Resource Manager to look at. It runs a lot faster because it is Flash-based and Silverlight, which is amazing how much better it runs. But you can just, it's right there. We can look at it. We can see jobs have been scheduled against this machine. We can see policies applied to this machine. We can see the software that's on this machine. Get all this from just dragging and dropping, clicking. Speaking of dragging and dropping, we can see our system jobs, and we can drag these to computers. We can go to our policies and see policies have been applied. So, again, very straightforward view, very straightforward to interface and work with. When install software, it's a one-click button here, and we can do a one-time task, or we can do a managed software delivery. So this used to be called, this is a quick delivery task, and now it's a little more descriptive in the name. So it just calls out, starts installing right away. Whereas we have deliver software, keep it installed. That's the managed software where it checks to make sure it stays installed. So then these computers that should have a certain piece of software on there will stay on there, and it will let you know when there's remediation issues that need to be done. It's amazing the feedback we've been getting about how exciting this console is, how much you can do with it. So we're just looking at 2 parts so far, just the computer and the jobs. Down here to software. Now this piece has, there's asset managements installed. This allows you to do a lot more with it, know more about the system, keep track of it better. Again, the goal here is to keep it right at your fingertips. So we look at managed software, and we can actually see in one place that Adobe Air has 0 licenses. It's been used 3 times. You can add licenses right from this spot, and I'll pull up a little box to put licenses in. It's name the product, and this is software management piece. So again, bring it all to one place. 2 clicks, you can pull up your software, add your licenses. And there's your license purchase button. You can add a meter for it. Right now it's not being metered, so there's nothing down below about usage. And then delivery, we can actually put software packages in here and tie them to it. So we can do a custom inventory to pull back this package for this one, so we get more targeted. Again, this is stuff that's been there. It's just you got to dig into it a little bit more. So with 7.1, the thinking is let's put it right in front, so it's all very easy to get to, very easy to navigate. We can see it based on different types. So we have Microsoft here, and you see Office. You can actually pull up the name of the computer from here. We can click on the computer and go back to this view. So again, it's all right in front of us. It makes it easier to manage. Like your software, go in with this. Now there's a concept of unmanaged and managed. So we have this one that's not managed. And if it is managed, you can move it to the unmanaged software list, because you don't manage all the software. Some software is something that may be it's an add-in, it's a plug-in, but ones you want to manage, you want to track the licenses, you want to you own licenses for it. Those are the ones you want to keep track of. So from here, we can find out what's going on with these different machines, track that. But again, we right-click on this, we get the traditional things we've always used. CMDB functions, resource manager. We can see that, again, same thing, resource manager. We can edit it from here, we can add our licenses again. And we're able to track it a lot better. So going in here into policies. So right from here, we can see what our sample policy or our metering policies are, which ones are turned on. We can see the patch policies that are available, which ones have been enabled. We have just one in this one. And then we can have, and we'll right back up to the beginning where we were before. There's a lot of little things in here that have improved too. So from here, you want to see which computer is being managed or not managed. It's pretty straightforward. There's now an icon right here. That one's managed one, and this one is not. So again, the goal is to keep it right in front of you so you know what's going on with the machine. Deploy things to it. We can do asset functions, because just because it's not managed doesn't mean you're not tracking it as an asset. Look at some of these CMDB functions we can do. We can keep track of assigning to the owner, to the cost center, all those asset management pieces. And what's even better is we can use this data. The more we track about these computers, the more we know about them. They all report back their IP address and any location they're at. So if we look at assets, this just builds into better tracking of your assets, and feeding more information into your CMDB. So then we can go into here and we can look at your configuration items, your data center types, and we can actually use this because we know about the power systems, we know about the racks, and we can actually track this based on this information we have and deploy things like your servers, see which ones are available, which IPs are not being in use, because we know under reports what IPs are being used, and we can actually define, using ASDK, deploy a machine with the correct IP address that's not currently in use for that type of machine. And looking up and just giving the next one that's available. We can put in the rack information based on stuff if the name has rack information in it. There's a lot of different things we can do to, again, using the CMDB, or you can just manually add them in, right-clicking on the rack and do a create rack. So again, this is a very powerful way to get more information about your environment, to track it in one place, and to know what's going on with them. So we can create a new, and again, obviously this is new with 7, but there's some things I want to point out that I just add to it with 7.1. We can do a new client task schedule to keep it an ongoing task. Again, sort of how what deployment server work traditionally. We can do a server job, and this actually runs on the server and then does server functions to it. So you can actually use this to look up assets. You can run asset tasks and have it run things without going to the client. So the client doesn't necessarily have to be on to do these type of tasks. Client jobs where it actually goes out, it runs when it's scheduled, right away, it kicks off the client job, which is just a set of tasks. Or this is show the task list of what's available with 7 and 7.1. Go ahead and virtual machine management. Create disk, create network, create virtual machine. So again, all this thing is to help you manage your virtual machines better, no matter what type of virtual machines you have. You can take all these items and work together to build a very, it's not a one component type system. VMware loves using this as giving more functionality, more power in their VM environment. And so a lot of feedback from VM administrators where they just have a lot of things they have to do manually. Especially in server team, a lot of server deployments are done step by step. So this allows you to do more power. Deploy migration. Again, this is very cool. They add a lot of neat features with this with 7.1. reboot to. Now, instead of going and making a task tells it to reboot, you just have one that has to reboot in the next mode. This actually, you tell it how you want to reboot. Because sometimes you want to do an automation environment for a particular type of task, and you want to control that's on the machine. Whereas for some of them, you want to do a PXE. For example, if you have server builds, you can have the servers themselves go to automation, and clients go to PXE. But if you have a lab that you don't want to talk back to a PXE server, you can have a different automation build for that. So then that runs the automation boot instead of running the PXE boot. Because again, you can't always have PXE in every environment or tell it to reboot to production. And you can build all these tasks out as part of your job, and then you can copy them again. It makes a copy of all the tasks, so you have a separate set. So as you modify them in the different job, they stay separate than your other jobs you already have. One important concept that I've been running into that people didn't realize, in Windows XP, Microsoft was very lenient about allowing you to do syspreps after sysprep after sysprep on the same image. Now, that's really bad because what happens, the more syspreps you do, the less good it does every time. And so you'll have funny things with pass-through authentication that you just can't put your finger on it, why it doesn't quite work or why it doesn't seem to be quite reliable as it should be. Outlook and IE and things like that, or CRM. So then every time that's done, it doesn't quite strip out as much as it should. What this allows you to do with the restore backup image and prepare for image capture type tasks, you can capture a image as a backup, which is the best practice, is you do a backup of your image first when it's clean and ready to go. You boot it back into Windows, and then you do another capture of it after you sysprep it, or do the unintended cleanup on it, so that before you go to deploy it next time, you can deploy it fresh. And then we have to make a change to it. The new set of patches have been released. You have to maybe a slight change you have to do with it to make it go to a different OU, or you have a core piece of software that needs to be added in as a driver. Anything like that that you wouldn't want to do as a job that you want to put into your hardware independent image, that sysprep, what you do is you would restore from the backup image, do all the cleanup you want to do, and then you would do another image capture of it as a, instead of a backup, as a sysprep or unattended install ready image. Again, you can always do your deploy image. You can also do a scripted OS install, which is very powerful. And with the amount of time with Windows 7 it takes, whether you do a scripted or a unattended, it's actually it's kind of a wash, depending on you get a little bit more with a image that you can get multicasting through. But other than that, a lot of people are doing the scripted installs. And you can do Linux or Windows. So again, a lot of flexibility. It's always been main driver behind managing through Symantec and Altiris has been having flexibility to do things the way you want to do them in your environment. So again, all the types of jobs that you had before, file system configuration, personality capture and deployment, all those deployment type tasks are in 7.1. They work, they're great. There's different types of inventory tasks, and these are one time you click on them, you can create them. Do a file baseline, get file information back. You can do then does a file baseline snapshot. And this is the part that was application management before. You can do a gather inventory and set custom settings, whether you want to do a software, a hardware, types, and the options you want in here. In 7 and 7.1, the inventory piece, you don't have to edit that INI file anymore. It's right here. Inventory network, the alerting information for what's going on in your network, notification server tasks. You can call web services, you can restart services, you can tell it to update client configuration. It's no longer a right-click, send and pray. You can actually tell it to run as a task. It connects up to it, runs it right away. And don't have time to go through all these task types, but you can run CMDB rules, run connector rules, workflow tasks, asset pieces can all be run through here. All those different pieces that were separate before in settings, they're all tasking to run at different times. Gives a little, definitely more power and more reliability with it. You have your quick delivery, you have your package delivery. They're pretty similar to the different pieces. A lot of these are just the core application pieces. Software virtualization. With software virtualization, the licenses are included in Client Management Suite now, so you don't have to buy level 2. There's no such thing as level 2 anymore, it's just level 1. So it allows you to do virtualization with CMS licenses. And you can, when Windows install repair. Again, all this stuff has been moved forward into one place, make it easier to manage. Step integration, and then you have all these other tasks that you can do that basically anything else that we haven't gone through yet that's built into the system, you can do in this bottom section here, because you can run your any script, which pretty much covers everything, PowerShell, Apple script, BBS, all those type of things, SQL queries, send emails, enable, even defrag a computer. The defrag a computer task used to be something where help desk had to connect in and tell us to defrag and all that. Now you can schedule them if you wanted to on an ongoing basis. You could have it so then the help desk can just go computer and drag that defragment job to that computer, and it starts up. Deploy those tasks to the computers to keep your environment better managed. The same thing as before, you can have the rights limited as much as you want, depending on who the worker is and what task you want to see. All those tasks and jobs are based on security rights, so they have to be available to see it and the computers to run them on. And the kickoff one, it can be as simple as new schedule, and then just choose the basic inventory for a certain time, tell it to check in, all those type of things. And of course, everyone knows about the reports. 100 reports out of the box allows you to do, including IT analytics, discovery inventory. The IT analytics piece allows you to look at what's going on in the environment, allows you to use a queue-based reporting, so we can just select and look at the tasks. So this allows us to keep track of all the different pieces that we have in one place. And also, it's the same thing as the previous version, where you can take any of the reports, you can't edit them by default, but you can right-click on them, and then you can clone it and edit the clone. Again, the database is open. You can look at it directly. You can run any SQL you want in SQL Builder, and then come back and drop it in here to run it. We can see from a patch management standpoint how patched they are. The biggest thing that people have been excited about is the speed of the console now, because this report alone used to take, because of the different ones and looking into it, it would take a while to pull up all this information. And now, because of what they've converted and how much they've just worked on improving the performance of it, making it so it's more usable, because they know that clicking here and waiting for a few seconds and clicking here, that's when you're trying to get stuff done. That's when things need to respond. So they've worked very hard on making sure that it just responding as fast as it can for use you want to do. There's still a software catalog in here. We see with the software catalog now, it made it so it's a lot better. It's a lot more intuitive. You want to take a newly discovered software, you want to manage it, then you just select it and move it over. Prompts you for more information about it, items you want to set here, change information, pulls up the files for the icon for it, so you can actually put the icon with it so people will recognize it. And that seems like a little thing, but if you look back here, it's so much easier to actually just scan through the list and say, oh, there's Microsoft. There's another Microsoft box. There's Adobe. So it makes it really straightforward to see all that. And then if you want to, and here's some unmanaged software, we can move it up here to manage. We can take it down here to move it to unmanaged. So again, lots of options from one place. So that LibreX, before you go into the software in 7.0, and you'd have to go software, and then you have to expand that and click again. So right there, it opens up faster than what it would open before. Plus, you have less clicks just to get to the point where it was where you can actually start working on editing it or searching to find the software. So this has been a great improvement for keeping everything together in one place. And some of the other things that they've done, there's a few little bugs they found inside the system. I didn't put them all on the list or anything, but it's out there on the release notes out on the Symantec website. So you can always go out to Symantec.com support and go to search for 7.1 release notes, 7.1 SP1 release notes that will tell you all about those particular bug fixes that are there. PC Anywhere had a little bug that they fixed with a authentication piece. There was a small bug with quick delivery that some of you may have run into, where it would go to run, but it wouldn't always talk between quick delivery and getting the package on the machine. And so this would fix that, so then it would actually respond quicker and better. And so now it doesn't have it available. It will respond correctly. And then, because basically once it had to wait for the package to be available. And of course, one thing that I recommend if you have a large environment with a lot of different nodes, you can always check out the RAD tool. The RAAD allows you to look at work on remote agent, terrorist agent diagnostics. It allows you to look at the agent and go through that, look at what's going on with the agent, see the different items that may or may not have maybe you have to make a check-in or have a package store, make sure all the packages are up to date. It works remotely. It's great. It's a great way to manage large environment. We'll have to run the jobs. At the same time, some of that more that's been built into the agent all the time from their computers. So they're again, as I'm saying, we have we also have a support team that I myself lead that helps out with your ongoing questions. If you have something that you want to work with, especially as we've done so many implementations of both 7, where we've done a couple hundred 7 installs. We've done, I said, more than 250,000 nodes upgrades of 7.1 already. We're in a few major projects right now, and in place everyone's been excited to move forward. Everyone understands the speed of it. One thing to keep in mind that I mentioned earlier is that there is a platform change that with 7.1 you have to run on 64-bit, so it's 2008 R2 only. It does not support 2003, so there is an upgrade that's needed for that. As a support organization, we help out with the typical questions that you have. We have but we are working on the field and let people see value in the fact that we have had our hands in a lot of different environments. We have seen lots of different things that we can bring. We can talk to the people that may have done your implementation. We may have insights from other industries or other places that are doing something similar or have some complexity. We have places with a lot of different sites, or we have places that are small business that want to get more out of their software. They want to keep track better because everybody has less staff now. So how can you use this tool to help your environment out and make your people you have there more effective, especially with big projects like rolling out Windows 7. So appreciate your time.